Hi, welcome to the Global Creative Project Tutorial Bundle for March 2021. My name is Stacey Marsh and I'm a demonstrator here in the UK. Today we are using the Sand and Sea suite from the January to June mini catalogue and designed lots of lovely cards for you. I have used the pink DSP as my focus, one of the sheets of the pink and white DSP as my starting point for my card, and I do hope you enjoy putting it together. So let's get started. To create my card, I have got a Whisper White card base cut from basic white card base cut from thick basic white cardstock. I have two pieces of the DSP and they measure 10 centimetres by 14.4 centimetres. I have one for the inside and one for the outside. You'll notice that the DSP is somewhat a different colour on the card that I've made, and I'll show you how to achieve that look. And then I have a piece of basic white, a little bit smaller than my DSP for the inside. Okay. I then have two die cut pieces. I have a basic black circle that's been cut with the stitched shape dies, and I have the large die there from the dies that come within this suite. I also have some pre-cut pieces that come from this sheet of DSP in the set, and on the back it's kind of a grungy sandy looking colour. Okay, so we're going to start by putting this card together by creating the distressed look on our DSP, and for that I'm going to need a blending brush. These are new, also within the January to June mini catalogue, and I'm going to use a Rococo Rose ink pad from the 19 to 21 in colours. Okay, so it's not the same. We've got Blushing Bride as our background on our DSP, so I've gone for a little bit darker. And to create our distressed look, we're just going to add a good amount of ink to our blending brush, and then just go around the edge of that card, that DSP. Look at the lovely pattern it makes on our grid paper as well. And we're going to keep going around the edge until we're happy with the look that we've got. Okay, the best technique I've found with these blending brushes is to go in circular motion. So that's changed the look of that DSP somewhat dramatically, and I really like that. I've not gone over the whole piece because I wanted that little shadow, that little highlight area in the centre. Nearly there, one more side and we're done. Great, so that is our DSP altered that little bit to make it a bit darker. Okay, I'm now going to take a Rococo Rose stamping blend. This is the dark shade, and I'm going to use the felt tip end to add a little bit of ink splashing. And to do that, all I'm going to do is put the nib of the brush against the inside of that lid and just push against it. Okay, and that just adds a little bit more to that DSP. Okay, and then quite simply we're going to stick this to our card front, and I'm using Stampin seal for that. Big fan of the seal. I must say I've tried both of them and I do prefer Seal Plus. It's just that little bit stronger and I think you get a bit more control with it. I got myself into a bit of a pickle with the seal when I first got it. We can also add in our piece of a basic white to the inside layer as well while we're here. So that's that. The next thing we want to do is we want to heat emboss our sentiment. So for heat embossing we're going to need our Versamark an embossing buddy, and I always like to use a stamping mat, and I've got of course my lovely basic black circle. Okay, you use the the embossing buddy just to take away any static that might be on your card. Okay, we've got our lovely sentiment. This comes from the Friends Are Like Seashells stamp set within the suite. So I've just stamped that with Versamark, and now I have my white embossing powder. I always decant my embossing powders into bigger tubs that I just get from the pound shop here in the UK. It's easier to have it in a bigger pot than in the smaller tubs that they come in, and I find I get less messy, which is always good. So just going to heat that now with our heat tool. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so we can now add this to our card, and I'm going to add that with just one dimensional. Okay, and all will become clear in a moment, and that's going towards the right hand side of the card, just below the middle way, the midpoint. Okay, we can now bring in our beautiful die cut piece, and we're going to cut it up. So I want to trim off this seagrass, and this is what we're going to use behind our card. Okay. I found this die a little bit daunting at first because it is quite a large piece, but actually breaking it up works wonders. Okay, so the reason I've just put that one dimensional in is so that we've got enough room to slide that in behind. Just add this behind like so, and I'm not adding glue to all of it because I want it to stay free. Again, a little bit more texture detail to your card. And then this piece we're going to add just inside like that. Okay, so that's going to go in there like so. Oops. Perfect. Lovely. So now we've done that, there's one other piece we want to slide in behind, and I have some of the fine art ribbon here, and we need roughly 7 centimetres of this. Okay. And then using your snips, we're going to create a little frayed look. For that, just slide out what you see. Look quite gentle with this, because otherwise you will get into a bit of a knot situation. Okay, you don't want to pull it too tight like I've just done. Lovely, and that's just going to slide underneath there like so. If you want to have any more fraying, just keep playing with it until you're happy with what you've got. There we have it. That looks good to me, and that just gets slid underneath like so. And to add that to your card, I find the best way to add ribbon like this is with a little bit of tear and tape. Peel off the back and then slide that in. Lovely. Okay. Now the next part is to add our shells. So you'll notice this one here is only half a shell. The reason for that is these shells, the images go off the edge of the page. So I know I'm going to use a lot of these on my cards. So rather than using the whole ones, where it's going to be layered underneath, I'm going to use those ones from around the edge. So just a little bit of a tip from me. And then I'm going to add these with a mixture of wet glue. Oh, actually just wet glue, these ones. So that is going to go under there like so. And then I'm just gonna move that down a little bit actually, because that little bit of ribbon is there. Okay, like so. And then we're just going to layer these under and over that black circle. Perfect. Okay, so you'll also see on this card there is a little bit of gold showing, and I have done that with the new gilding embellishment. Okay, so for the gilding embellishment you'll need two things. You'll need the heat and stick powder. Again, I've decanted it into a small tub, and you will need the gilded flakes, and you will need a Versamark ink pad. Okay, I've used the little dots image from the Friends I Like Seashells stamp set, which is just this one here, and it's just to add a little bit of sparkle to our card. I've done this after I've stuck things on, just because it makes it a little bit easier to make sure that we can actually see this, and we're not going to put it over where we've stuck things on. Okay. And it's really hard for me to show you this because it's super clear. Okay, so once you've stuck your heat and stick powder on, heat it so it goes shiny. You then know it's nice and sticky. And then take some of your gilded flakes. And again, this has been put into a bigger tub. And just lay that on until you can feel it catching on the powder below. And then you can either just use your fingertip or use a paintbrush or your blending brush and just take off that excess. Like so. This paintbrush has got quite stiff bristles, and I find that helps. Okay, so you've then got a little bit of a wash effect, and we're going to repeat that a couple of times. Okay. So. I feel like I have to really concentrate when I'm doing this. Also to make sure that the gilded embellishment doesn't go all over the place. Okay, so we've got another little bit of gold added, and I think it just adds a really nice little finishing sparkle to this. Oops. See what I mean about it being all fly away? Okay, so So that's our little bit of shimmery sparkle done. A little bit stuck to my finger. Pop the lid back on. Fab. So the next thing we need to do for our card front is just to finish it off, we need a little bit of linen thread for a bow. I find it easier to tie this bow while it's still on the reel. So I want small loops and a bit of a longer tail. Then how I stick that to my card, I would use some mini glue dots for this. So take your bow, push the centre knot onto the glue dot, like so, and then carefully peel it off. You then just add that to your card, like so. Okay. And then the last little piece for the front, I have some opal rounds. These are again from the suite, and they're a great size and they look fab. They've got just a little bit of sparkle, an iridescent sparkle to them. I've just managed to get that stuck to my scissors. One, and we'll have another one just up there. Okay, so that is our card front finished. We just need to add our detail inside. So the first thing we're going to do is add a little bit of ink splashing, and we want to add our seashell that I've cut from that DSP earlier. Okay. And then we've got a little bit of gilding, and I'm popping that on so that it overlaps that shell. A little bit of a heat. And then we'll bring our gilded leaf back in. Oh, that bit's huge. Look at the size of that. Wow. Lovely. And then to finish, we want a little heat embossed sentiment to turn this into a birthday card. So we'll bring our Versamark in. We've got the happy birthday sentiment. Oh, we haven't used our bossing buddy or our Stampin' mat. So bossing buddy. And then we now want that white embossing powder again, like so. Apologies about the screen wobble. Give that a little heat. And then I'm going to fussy cut around this. I'm going to keep the top part of this sentiment nice and straight, and then fussy cut around the script part of it. keep going. So all I'm doing is I am keeping my scissors nice and still and moving the card just to get that little bit of control. Done. I'll move those pieces out the way, and then this sentiment is going to go along the bottom, and I'm adding it to the bottom of that basic white line so that you get that lovely script edge showing really clearly, because if you pop it up there I think you kind of lose it, but if you pop it on the edge of that cardstock it just breaks up that edge ever so slightly. And there we have it. There is our finished card for you today. I hope you enjoyed putting it together, and there we have it. Thanks very much guys, take care now, bye.